what's up? So I am constantly asked, what is it like growing up in the entertainment business? So today I'm gonna share with you guys what it's like being a child star. All right, you guys, before we dive in, make sure you subscribe to Tia Mowry's Quick Fix for future episodes. First of all, growing up as a child star definitely changes the dynamic of a family, and I think that's something that a lot of people don't necessarily think about. And what I mean by that is we were living in Texas at the time, and my mom was there, my dad was there, they were in the Army. In order for me to pursue my career as an actress, you have to move to Hollywood. My dad actually calls it Hollyweird. He's just keeping it real. So my mom ended up quitting her job. I actually explained this whole, situation in one of my videos, my life story video. My mom, she moved with us, she quit her job, and my dad, he still stayed in Texas to, continue to be in the Army and do whatever he was doing. So my point is, it separated the family. And that already is a challenge. My mom is amazing because she supported our careers. My sister and then my brother Taj was in the business as well. And so my mom, she became this kind of like single mom. That was hard, kind of just growing up with now just a mom instead of a mom and a dad, all for going for a dream. Our school dynamic changed. We were no longer in an environment with our friends that we knew. After school, I would be doing my homework in the car, and then I would have to study these lines. And while my mom is driving the car to Hollywood, it took like maybe an hour and 45 minutes just to get to one audition. And I give it my all, and then many of times you hear the answer no. So you've put all of that time and energy and effort into something, and then you're rejected. That became a routine for like 3 years. And it's hard. I really give a lot of credit to my mother for constantly being that support system for me, that when I didn't book something or I didn't get a job, she kept on motivating me to continue to move forward and to move on. Cut to 3 years of this hustle and grind as a kid, right? And then I end up booking Sister Sister. And a lot of people say, just being in LA for 3 years, hustling and grinding for a break is actually good, because there are a lot of people that, for example, my husband was grinding for I want to say 10, 15 years before he got his big break. Cut to, I'm on set, Sister Sister, you have all of these stages, and these stages are numbered. So you have stage 24, stage 10. But what's really cool about Paramount Studios is there's an area on the lot where you can just stand and look and see the Hollywood sign. And I remember seeing that for the first time as a child and saying, "Mommy, I made it." You know what I mean? This is so amazing. Not only am I seeing the Hollywood sign, but I'm seeing the Hollywood sign at Paramount Studios. When I first realized that I was famous, my sister and I, we had won a Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Award. And in order for you to win this award, the fans have to vote for you. We walk on stage, and when I say I can still hear the screams in my head, from people just I was like, oh my gosh, we are famous. And not only that, we won the Golden Blimp, which basically means you've won 3 Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards in a row. Jim Carrey had won this award. And we're like, oh my gosh, my sister and I idolized Jim Carrey. Alrighty then. If you're a Jim Carrey fan, you'll totally know what that means or what I'm saying. To just be in that same category with him, my mind was just whoa, this is amazing. You would start to go to these parties and award shows, and then I would see Will Smith, and Will Smith's like, "Hey, what's up, Tia and Tamir?" I'm like, whoa, he knows my name? Wait a minute. Will Smith, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, knows my name? Or Beyonce, Destiny's Child, they were huge fans of Sister Sister. But the biggest for me was Janet Jackson. I'm at this award show, and there's Janet Jackson. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's Janet Jackson. And then I walk up to her and I say, hi, my name's Tia. And she's like, I know who you are. You know, here you are, you've always been fans of these people. And then all of a sudden, you know, they're saying how they're, you know, fans of you. Reality starts to hit rather quickly. And what I mean by that is, growing up as a child star, you are working when you book a job. And what that means is you have responsibility. You have to remember your lines. There are so many things coming at you rather quickly. It's almost like you're being thrown into the pool and you don't know how to swim. You gotta figure this out quickly, and you're a child, you know? So it's a lot of pressure. I do remember doing an episode for Sister Sister. There's an audience out there. Everybody's watching you, looking at you. You have producers, you have execs, writers all around you. There's like maybe 300 people. All of this as a child. It's a lot of pressure. And I will say this, it's not for the weak. I started doing the show at 14 years old. So I grew up on television. I saw literally, and I can even watch them today, my growing pains. I'm like looking back going, oh my God, Tia, your teeth. Or oh my God, Tia, your hair. Oh my gosh. When you're on set, when you have a television show like Sister Sister, what you do is you usually have school on set. You'll do a certain amount of hours within a day to complete your schooling. Because you have this curriculum that you have to follow. You're getting your schooling on set, but then when the show's over, you have to get back into that system. So you have to go back to school and jump in that classroom as if you never left. It was hard even from an emotional standpoint, because that's when bullies came into play. I will never forget this one particular time where, you know, I'm walking through the halls, I'm in my locker, and then all of a sudden I hear this kid screams, "Your show sucks," like out loud in front of everybody, and he was talking about Sister Sister. Now mind you, Sister Sister was very successful. Okay, so that was just a little opinion there. Everybody has an opinion, right? Okay, but the way that he did it was so inappropriate. And I remember I turned back to him and I said, well, you know what? You may think my show sucks, but the checks don't. I mean, I was able to stand up for myself, but you know, at the same time, I'm being bullied because I have a successful television show, you know, in high school. Not only that, I was in college when I was on Sister Sister, and I will tell you this, in college, they don't care about anything else. If I have to show up for class, I would sign up for the early morning classes because I would have to have a class before I would get to work. When I just look at all of that, I'm like, my gosh, like, how did you do this? I believe I got through because of the support that I had. My sister was right there with me. It felt like you're running in this race and you're exhausted, you're tired, but then I could look to the right and I would see my sister there and she's doing the same exact thing. We're just like saying, you got this, you could do this, you could do this, you could do this. And then there's the dating. The dating life with being an actor or a child actor, that was very, very hard as well. Because again, I didn't know why somebody wanted to be with me. Was it because I was on a television show and I was successful, or did they want to be with me because they really liked me? So it was very hard to decipher that, and I think what I did to not even deal with that was I didn't even date. I was so focused on school, I was so focused on my television show. I ended up, you know, being introduced to Corey, who was an actor, but he wasn't famous. And that kind of worked for me, you know what I mean? Because he got my lifestyle, he understands what it's like being an actor, but he's not famous, so we won't have that attention and that pressure on us. Now Corey is actually famous, and you know, he's doing very well for himself, but that's not how we found each other. That's not how we found our love. You'll see a lot of actors date, you know, other actors and other celebrities, or they have to have this amount of money or da-da-da-da. None of that matters to me because I knew what I wanted, and what I wanted was something that was real. I wanted something that had a strong foundation, and here we are 20 years later. So I actually talk about how Corey and I met in our story. If you guys want to check that out, make sure you check out Marriage Q&A. It's a great one. What was beneficial for me and why I became, or why I was always just stable, is because my mom was really good at making sure that when we did get home from work, we didn't talk about the business anymore. That was a job. You know, you're on set, people are catering to you. I'm talking about, still to this day, I have a hard time. I can't believe I'm telling you guys this, but we're family. Still to this day, I have a hard time buttoning up things because I was dressed as a child. They put on my hat, they put on my tights, they put on my clothes. They did everything for me. I was catered to. I was fed on a dime, you know? What do you want to eat? You can have anything you want. I was riding around in limousines everywhere I went. But the reason why I'm sharing all of this is because my mom made sure to tell us that all of that is fake. All of that is a facade. And at the time, we were like, why are you raining on our parade? Like, we're living large, you know? We had bodyguards. You know, my sister and I, we could never go anywhere without someone hanging on to us and wanting, you know, our autograph. Like, we would have to run from people. But I say that all to say, my mom wanted to make sure that we knew that that wasn't reality. That when you came home, this was home. You still had responsibility. You are a child. You are my child. And I will continue to treat you like a normal child. For example, had chores. My sister and myself, we were on our way to Phantom of the Opera. I was dressed to the gods. Had my makeup on and everything, and I'm about to leave the house. And my mom said, "Excuse me, where are you going?" I was like, "What do you mean, where am I going? I'm gonna go to the Phantom of the Opera." She was like, "Not before you clean this kitchen." I was like, "Wait, what?" So our friend at the time, Andrea, she literally took a photo of me with a broom and a dustpan cleaning up the floor in my gown before I went to the opera. But I share that story because my mom didn't care about all of that, what was going on outside. She wanted to make sure that your integrity, your character, and who you are as a person is more important than this facade of a life. One minute you're hot, one minute you're not. One minute you're making a lot of money, so one minute you're making zero. And that's where a lot of people fall short. It's you go from being this huge celebrity and this child star where everybody loves you, and then the calls stop. And some people can't handle that because they defined themselves in this business. And my mom always taught us, never let this business define who you are. Because if you do, that's where you'll get into trouble. So I don't define myself and how successful I am. That's amazing. That's great. I love when my hard work is paid off, but that's not what I value. I value being a good person. I value being a good wife. I value being a good mother. I value things that are attainable, not something that's so up and down. And I think that's where a lot of people, you know, child stars get into trouble, and then they turn to drugs or they start to act out and rebel. It's hard for you to build lasting relationships with this lifestyle. Your schedules are insane. A normal schedule for us is 12-hour days. And then of course you're out of town. So the friendships that you have when you're an actor in this business, or even a child actor, they have to understand that shift within the relationship. One minute you guys could be hanging out, having a great time, seeing each other once a week, and then the next minute you may not see her in 4 or 5 months. But Jessica Lasky is the one that will get on the phone and she will swear up and down. She's like, "Tia, I don't care what you're doing. I don't care what project you're doing. Hello." I have to bring her here. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want to sit down and meet Jessica Lasky. She knows things that she will take to her grave. This girl, I'm telling you. I feel very blessed that she's been in my life because she was the one, and is still the one, that always humbles me and brings me down. And what I mean by that is I have a lot of humility, but she always puts me into check about what's important. And what I mean by that is she just really keeps it real. And I think it's important for you to have people like that in your life. Who's your friend? Because they really like you. There's another period in my life I feel like it was challenging being a child star, and that is when everything stops, right? When all of the calls stop. So I was prepared for that. What I wasn't prepared for was the routine of it all. So you're working every day, for 6 years, and then all of a sudden it stops and you're like, oh my gosh, now what do I do? It took me a while to graduate. I graduated in 6 years. I was like, hey, give me a break. I was like working, I was grateful to have that to fall back on because I traveled abroad. I went to Egypt. I went to Paris. I went to London. I studied in Italy. I went to school. It took me 7 years to get another television show, and that was the game. So that was a while. That was a long time. But I believed in myself, and I had to get out of my comfort zone. What's so interesting, well, it's not really interesting because both of his parents are actors, so this is like a no-brainer, right? Cree actually now wants to act. And he did an episode of my newest show right now. It's called Family Reunion. It's on Netflix. Check it out. But anyway, he did an episode of that, and he was incredible. My mouth was open and it hit the floor. I was like, oh my gosh, this kid is such a natural. And so he was like, Mommy, I want to do more. I want to do this. I want to do that. So he now has an agent. He now has a manager. He has headshots, which I can show you guys. Pop it up right there. Maybe it's right there. So if you guys want to hire Cree Taylor Hardrick, I'm kidding. He's now in the business. And, a lot of people, they ask me, are you apprehensive about it? And I say no, because he has two incredibly stable parents that have gone through this business, that knows the ups and downs, and I know how to protect my child of the pitfalls. Of course, we can't control everything, but I will do my best to make sure he is raised in this business the way I was raised in this business, which is, that's a hobby. Acting is a hobby. And if it hits, then it becomes your job, but it is not your life. And as long as he has something else to fall back on, then I'm cool. You know what I mean? It's amazing when you have a child being successful at such a young age and be able to, take care of themselves by the time they hit 21. It's amazing, And then not only that, if it's done correctly and if it's done right, I believe I am who I am, and I'm a hard worker because I started at such a young age. I know what it takes. I know what it's like. I know that you have to work hard to get benefits in this life. And acting has taught me that. We put a lot of attention on child stars that have not done well in this business. How about we put attention on the child actors that have done exceptionally well? You have Natalie Portman, who started out in this business at such a young age, and she's grown up to have this beautiful career. And let's start putting the spotlight on that instead of always focusing on the negative. So I don't mind, my son being in this business as long as we teach him what's important, and I think he'll be okay. All right, you guys, I have a question for you. If you were a child star, what would be the show that you would have wanted to star in? Let me know in the comments below. So if you guys liked hearing me talk about growing up being a child star, you will definitely enjoy hearing about me growing up being a twin. Check out the video right there.